The griot, one of the most important and fascinating aspects of African tradition and culture, is the presence of the griot. The griot, by the way, is a person who is held responsible for holding the oral history and chronicling the life of populations of people. In the West, whether from the Mande and the Mandinka or the Wolof or the Fulani, the Hausa or the Mosai, the Yoruba, the Akan, the Igbo, the Songhai or the Fan, or even down in the South, whether the Zulu or the Shona. What about in the central part of Africa, the Bantu people? Or in the north, the Turge? Or in the east, Somali? The griot are those who tell of the tales, both the history and the folk tales, both of things that occurred and perhaps things that should, might, and will occur. In many ways, they're the oral historians. They represent pre-colonial Africa. And much of what we know about pre-colonial Africa to this day comes through the songs and the sentiments of the griots. The griots tell who begat who begat who begat who and who begat who, to the point of who is here now. Representatives and ancestors, progeny, and next generations all come through the songs and the stories of the griot. The griot will tell of the royal history of the kings and their family lines. They'll tell of the births and the deaths. They'll tell of the achievements, the wars and the harvests, the droughts and the famines. They also will tell of the rites of passage. Who was selected to be who? Who was the great warrior? Who helped to serve the people and protect them from other enemies? Who was the greatest hunter? Who was the greatest gatherer? Who perhaps was the greatest cook? These griots carry with them ancestral memories, and they're so important. They're respected leaders, and they're teachers, they're aggregators, they're mediators. They are those who are perhaps the most important next to the royalty, which is why the royalty would often have their specific griots. The griots were most often, not always, but most often men who come through a familial line such that the grandfather selects of his children to be the next in line. And that griot would train for years and years and years, not only to be a musician, but also to understand and carry the repertoire of the people. Can you imagine having centuries of repertoire in your mind and being the one responsible to not only carry it forward, but to teach it to your successor? These griots are extremely important to the legacy, the heritage, the past, and the future of the African people.